Give me a moment with your friend. I've never been on trial for my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast. Hard Rob, Brooklyn's Rage. That's me. How y'all doing?
What up?
Doing good. What up?
All right, we're gonna talk about this whole Young Thug RICO charge situation. You know, them boys about to get hit. They're about to get hit. The Atlanta DA, Fannie Willis, is not playing with them cats. So you know the charge is that they all got hit with. Basically, they told on themselves in these songs, which is like seem to be the big thing with a lot of these rappers these days. Far removed from how it was when we came up. You know, like they might have referenced different things, but never actually said they actually killed somebody that actually did turn up dead and all type of stuff like that is real crazy. What's y'all thoughts on this situation? Because as it stands right now, I think it's like 28 arrests, 56 different convictions under this RICO Act.
It said it's a 56 count indictment. 28 people, I believe, was arrested. They said, I've got this from CBS News. It says Young Thug is allegedly one of the three founders of the Young Slime Life, a criminal street gang that started in late 2012 in Atlanta. The indictment says that YSL, Young Slime Life, is affiliated with the National Blood Gang. Officials said charges include preserving and protecting and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of enterprise through acts of racketeering, and including murder and assault and threats of violence.
Well, one thing about that lifestyle is you pretty much take a code. Like either you live in street life or you the person that's going to call the cops. I'm not judging either one, but at the end of the day, you got 28 people, 28, somebody's going to talk.
And counting.
28 and counting, somebody's going to say something. Somebody's going to slip up somewhere because somebody's scared right now. And to live up to that lifestyle, you really have to be like fearless and not really care. And the problem is a lot of people put stuff in their songs and then the pressure to back up what they're saying is real. Not saying that they're not hard, whatever. I personally think that I will say that Young Thug is not my favorite rapper, but I feel as though he's extremely talented. He brought something different to the game. If you pay attention to like his music, I don't hear all about killing and drugs and whatever. He's a little bit different. His sound is different, and you know, Gunna's sound is different. You know what I mean? But I will say this to in my opinion, it's like you're guilty by association. So we don't really know. Yeah, we really don't know
who's really
involved, and it's alleged, right? And I'm not saying that if they did do something wrong, then then I understand the punishment or whatever. Because Atlanta goes hard with stuff like this. She's been working on this for years. Like, they even said, like, I think I read an article where they said that either Gunna or Young Thug, one of them allegedly killed this dude in 2018 that it was a rival gang member, like head of a rival gang member. They've been watching them for years. But then, like, it's a lot. It's 88 pages worth of stuff.
88 pages, and it's like, but even if you were, again, alleged, all this is alleged till it's proven. If these things did happen, why put it on wax? Because remember, at the end of I forgot what song it was because I listened to it for research purposes. After itemizing every disgusting thing you might have done that these people are actually going to use in court against them, they say, yo, we don't talk about this on wax.
Honestly speaking, the way hip hop is, and I don't really even hold them to that because, pretty much the way hip hop is based off of sex, money, murder, and violence. That's pretty much all the lyrics are based off nowadays. So anything that they say and this music can be interpreted as some sort of admission to guilt. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing, I guess, that Jay-Z and a number of other people were trying to fight against. What, like last year, was it?
Yeah.
They were trying to go to Congress?
I say about 2-3 years ago.
You think has it been that long?
Yeah, they were trying to, because I think it was like right before the pandemic, they were trying to like stop, the lyrics being used against people, and they like took it to Congress. Like it should be freedom of speech. You should be able to talk about anything you want to talk about. And what's that? The Second Amendment, that your freedom of speech. I believe it's the Second Amendment. And it seems like when it comes to rap music, they're looking for a way to. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. Remember when the when they had hip hop police out, and they was in the 90s, and they was following Wu-Tang all around. Remember?
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah. So like, this is real. Like, I mean, this is real. And if they didn't do the things that they're being accused of, I feel bad, because, the odds are not in their favor, and we looking at more of our young black men like being locked up for years for crimes that they may not have committed.
So let's just take a pause for a second and get a good scope of what's going on. So I have a clip, ironically, from Fox News. The press conference that was given the other day with the Fulton County DA, Fannie Willis. So here we go.
We are here today about a grand jury indictment that was returned that included not just Jeffrey Williams, which is of some notoriety and media attention, but about 28
Jeffrey Williams being Young Thug.
Defendants that operated within our community between the time period of 2012 and 2022. It is our allegation that they operated as a criminal street gang and commenced to do havoc in our community. That havoc includes crimes of violence, crimes of thefts, crimes involving drugs. I've made no secret about it, nor any apology, that as the district attorney of Fulton County, my number one focus is targeting gangs. And there's a reason for that. They are committing conservatively 75 to 80% of all of the violent crime that we are seeing within our community.
75 to 80%?
Yeah, well, see the thing, and I think I was talking to you about this not too long ago. I went to Atlanta in November. I really didn't get to see the A like I wanted to see the A. Like whenever I go away somewhere that I've never been before, well, I've been to Atlanta before. I went to Clark, Atlanta, and I saw Freaknik, but I wanted to really see the A now. You know what I'm saying? And my sister's down there with her kids and her boyfriend. And I went down in November for Thanksgiving, but I really didn't get to see what I really want to see. I like to go to the hood. I know that sounds crazy, but I like to go to the hood. Show me where the hood is at, because every hood is different.
Yeah, do the same thing.
They're just like Delaware. They can carry. You know what I mean? And so everybody can have a gun. If you remember those little kids that just graduated, went to the prom, they was posted up in pictures with guns all in the pictures. This is their lifestyle. This is like you said, they're listening to this music, and these guys become their idols. So,
but let me jump in for a second. Because you said something that was interesting. You said this is their lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that should be normal. It's not normalized, for a kid to just carry a gun because that's the lifestyle.
It's not normal. However, it's a vicious cycle. And because guns are so easily accessible, it's common. The parents are carrying guns. My sister works in Fulton County in a school system. And kids have brought guns to the school where she works. There's been stabbings and everything. And the thing is, you get into it with one of these parents, they can come up to the school. I pray for my sister every day, because now it's gotten so bad that even though they can carry, and even though violent acts have gone on within the school system, the cops come out there with the dogs and sniff the teachers' cars to make sure there's no weapons in them.
Now, to be clear, what grade level is this? Is this elementary, high school, middle school?
My sister is teaching, I think, 6th or 7th grade math for children with special needs.
Wow, and it's a special needs school.
But they're part of the regular
General
school
education.
system.
Okay.
They're all in the class together, but fights break out all the time. Some of them have really serious behavioral issues. And I remember
this is the South.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, this is the South, though, man. You know, the South going to have their guns and they're going to have their freedom of speech, man. That's how it's going to be. And the problem down there with the South is different from New York, different from LA and all these other places in the United States. The South ain't going to play that gang stuff down there. You know what I mean? And they have. But they have, but they haven't played it to the point where it's like in New York and LA. Like it's not as not to say that they don't get violent down there, but it ain't LA. The South ain't LA.
Listen, no place is LA, and that's like comparing Nas, Biggie, and Jay-Z. Down in the South, in Atlanta, we specifically talking about
they
Atlanta,
get busy. There's violent down there.
And this heavy gang activity, just like it is in New York. Like now, everybody quick to talk about Brooklyn, and Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn's bad, but you know what's horrible right now? Queens. It's been a shooting every day in Queens because of gang activity. Kids getting shot when they leaving school. It's bad all over. And
but when I say what I'm saying, I'm talking more so about from living down in North Carolina, being down there for a second, they don't take kindly to people coming, bringing their that kind of culture down there. You know what I mean? Even though it's down there.
I lived in North Carolina too, but respectfully, we both haven't been there in a while. And
no. I'm not saying that it's not going on. I got friends down in North Carolina, and all my Army buddies on this. So I know it's horrible down south. I'm not saying that it's not horrible down south. What I'm saying is that the South, when it gets to this point, it's going to be different from the way how New York and LA handles it. New York and LA handles gang violence and stuff like that with kid gloves. You know what I mean? South ain't gonna handle it like that. It's gonna be very different how they start getting busy. And you heard that lady that you just played. I think I heard something where they were saying they were saying it's like an election year now. That's what she ran on. You know what I mean? So their goal right now, all of them down there, is to stop that guy. Even in New York now, you see them talking about that trap music and all that other stuff like that. This gang stuff is starting to be like a marketing for Bloods and Crips all over the world. And any other gang affiliation you at. So now it's come time where people is like, nah, we ain't doing that no more. We're not gonna allow you to market this stuff and sell it to people. Even now, the mayor of New York started talking about he trying to stop trap music or something like that.
Trying to ban drug music
or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy because let me bring y'all back to this. Do you remember when the article came out from that dude? This was a few years back, talking about he used to be part of a record company and he remembers having this like exclusive meeting with like really big name rappers and really top record execs, and how they were trying to push violence and drugs within the music.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that they all had to like be sworn to secrecy and sign off on it. And then you remember it was like an influx of songs that just promoted like drug trafficking and violence and everything. Well, now you're coming back and saying like, we not standing for this no more. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's kind of crazy to me how it seems like this was just a setup. This is what they want to happen. They want things like this to happen. Like they want to be able to say, okay, YSO, that's a gang out here.
YSL.
They all on the record label together. You know what I'm saying? And let's get them all at once.
Well, the crazy thing is, if you look at it, a lot of them people in that indictment probably ain't even stole a pack of gum out of the store or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
But just because, they probably been on the phone with one of these guys or
they affiliated.
Or they just said YSL on a Facebook post or something like that, they all in jail. This ain't the mafia. That ain't the mafia.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I'm going to play something from Michael Francis. Hold on one second.
I know what you're getting ready to say.
I'm on trial, again, for several months in the Giuliani case, right? One of the guys was a labor guy, okay? They mentioned his name in the opening statement. I didn't know him. He was never arrested before, never had any kind of criminal activity. He was a straight guy. They play one tape, 5-minute tape. And you know what it says on the tape? What we're doing here is a crime. We are committing a crime. And if the government knew about this, we're all going to jail. Boom. He gets convicted. He gets 7 years. You can't talk like that anymore. It's what I tell these young gangbangers. You got to stop. This life is over. The street stuff, it's not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect example, man.
Perfect example. Because, you have to be careful what you're saying. You have a responsibility, man. It's certain things that you just might want to just keep under your hat, man. You know what I mean?
Well, it's even crazy because it's like kids, especially growing up in New York and you grow up in the neighborhood. Back then, we didn't, they had little gangs and stuff like that too, but New York really wasn't like crazy gang type thing, except for the Decepticons and stuff like that, and maybe the Latin Kings. But, growing up during our era, but, we had more like crews, like it was just your neighborhood, you know what I mean? And if you had now the way things are, if you go to a block party and y'all got on a neighborhood shirt or, something that represents the neighborhood or something like that, you got enough pictures or something like that. If some goofball on the next block decide that he's selling drugs and they got like a nice little operation going, when everybody get locked up, everybody that ever wore that shirt or, got a tattoo on with the neighborhood logo or whatever the case may be, everybody going to jail.
Do you think that these guys will be made an example of?
I think that's what they're trying to do. Yeah. I'm hoping, you got to understand this too. Money talks, right? I'm not going to say it's a good thing. Cause like I said, if they did do these acts of violence and they are guilty, then, pretty much they should get what they deserve. Now, who am I to say what they deserve? But it should be some type of punishment because innocent people have lost their lives, and you're doing something wrong. You're doing something. You're committing crimes. However, money talks. If they've been racketeering since 2012, I think they said they've been investigating. Right. It's a lot of money built up. It's a lot of money that's going into these artists. The artists have a lot of money because of their sales. And it may be some people that just walk away from this, that they get out of it. Unfortunately, I feel bad. I don't know how true it is, but 2 of the people allegedly requested permission to hit YF and Lucci while he was in jail. He already got stabbed. I think he got locked up in January. He was stabbed in February. And I don't know if they caught them making a phone conversation, but allegedly they were requesting to hit him up again while he's in jail. So it's sad because now people don't know who's snitching. And like I said, it's 28 of them.
Oh, somebody telling.
Somebody's going to snitch. Somebody's talking because somebody has been played for a fool. And basically, the prosecution probably says something like, yo, if you let us know what's going on here, we're going to get your sentence reduced to 3 years. Like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of you when you get out. And unfortunately, that never works.
The basic, the RICO for law enforcement is that you lock up a bunch of squares claiming they're affiliated with the situation. And a person that's not really doing any crime, but they're just affiliated, they're going to tell. You know what I mean? Even if they don't know nothing, they're going to find something to tell about. They're going to find something to tell about. They're going to probably give you some information, about the case, even if you don't know nothing about it. Just to corroborate it and say, listen, he's in the pictures with them. He does this, blah, 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 blah. All right, well, let's go ahead and lock everybody up. You know what I mean? And it's easy to get a square to, I say a person that's not really involved in crime to just go ahead and snitch on everybody. A lot of people that's involved with snitch.
Well, my question is, if this has been going on since 2012 and they've been investigating and it's been
murders, they know something.
It's been murders throughout 2012 up until now, which is a decade, right? It's an actual decade. What now is the reason why they pushed the button?
They know something.
It got to. They already knew. It's just like with any crime. They know that you're doing it.
I'm gonna say allegedly who was involved.
Yeah.
But
so why they let it slide for so long?
Because enough is enough, and they give you up to a certain point. I'm quite sure. Just like with any crime, they already know that's what's going on. You can. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I wouldn't even say enough is enough. I think it's more so a situation where it's like you said, the kid is a rapper. He got money. And I think that they probably waited until, they made sure that they got a solid situation, because rappers are usually slippery and they can, they can get out a few things here and there. But I think right now with him, they're gonna definitely, somebody's going to jail, because if they did a 12-year investigation and they decided to do something now and push it through now, that means that somebody knows something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's go back to
somebody already told.
Somebody already told.
So we're going to go back to the press conference.
It might not necessarily be in regards to these two rappers, but just the whole crew. Somebody's going to jail.
Yeah. We go back to the press conference and see what she had to say. Hold on one second.
And so they have to be rooted out of our community. I said just a week or two ago, it does not matter what your notoriety is, what your fame is. If you come to Fulton County, Georgia, and you commit crimes, and certainly if those crimes are in furtherance of a street gang, that you are going to become a target and a focus of this district attorney's office, and we are going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. I agree with Chief Bryant. What you see yesterday and what you will see in the upcoming months and years is the result of a lot of hard work by both the Atlanta Police Department and this office. We are proud to bring forth this indictment and hopefully to bring justice to a lot of the community who was victimized through the course you see in this indictment. But more importantly, the most important thing that we are here to do is to keep this community safe. And we believe removing these 28 defendants will keep Fulton County safer.
Hold on. I got something to say real quick. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I don't know if y'all heard this whole press conference. During this press conference, one dude stands up.
I know
and
you're
like,
going with this. Go ahead.
The dude stands up and he's like, I see you made these arrests or whatever. I'm paraphrasing right now. I see you made these arrests or whatever, but I just found it strange that you didn't arrest Jack Harlow. Now, you talk about snitching. Yo, that was snitching to the fullest right there. And she said, we got who we know for sure it needs to be, we needed to get. We got who we needed to get at this time. So this ain't over. Like, by the time we finish with this whole joint and the people finish talking and everybody get what they got to say off their chest and more people start fighting in the street, it's going to be like 50, 60 people they catch.
See, a lot of them people down there, and that's what they're not. And that's when, this is what I was telling you before about living in North Carolina, man. It's like, she said, if you come to Fulton County, Georgia,
right?
If you come to Fulton County, Georgia, this is what they do down south. I'm telling you, I've been in the court system down south, and when you walk in front of that judge, and they be like, "Yo, you from New York? You come down here? You trying to bring your foolishness down here?" A lot of people in New York is in Atlanta. It's down there in Georgia, man.
It's not just that. It's Delaware too.
Everything.
Everything
down there.
Skeety Ball. I don't know who Skeety Ball from Wilmington. Rest in peace, Skeety Ball. He was an artist. I don't know who he was affiliated with. I seen him in some pictures with King Von and all of that. But even King Von, he's from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people going down to Atlanta at this time, which at once it was everybody's goal was to get to New York to make music in New York. But now, because of the sound and the times, everybody, even people from New York, sounding like that South sound. You know what I'm saying? So you got people coming from Mississippi, Texas, Chicago, Delaware, New York, New Jersey, all going to Atlanta. So she's saying, all you outsiders
coming down here playing with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to break code.
This is how we get down. And that's the only reason why I feel as though, yes, they might be made an example out of. And like I said, hopefully nobody that was really that really isn't affiliated or guilty of these charges. I hope that we don't have to see nobody else sitting in jail and not telling what happened, which is the code, because you live by this code, but they're not going to tell. They're going to sit there and they're going to rot for something they didn't do.
Yeah, listen, like I tell you, man, you can't, down south is different, man.
Yeah.
It's down, and I think Atlanta been a little bit more tolerant. The whole Georgia era been a little bit more tolerant with what's going on down south as of right now. Like when I was down there, let me tell you something. Anything on you or you're an outsider, they will give you that time so good and quick. It's amazing.
I just think people should have learned their lesson from when they was watching T.I. with the guns.
Yeah.
Yo, how
Yeah.
I mean, history repeats itself.
Yeah.
His
You know what I'm
situation's a little
saying?
suspect too, man.
Listen, I don't have nothing bad. Yo, T.I., if you listening, I love you. I have nothing bad to say about you. I'm just saying,
Hey, man,
I think they should have took the hint then. You can get caught. I don't care how much money you think you're gonna make. We're gonna take some of this money back, and we're gonna get some of this crime.
Well, the dude
Listen,
was
I was
only
working in the
worth.
federal.
I'm sorry, man, but they said that he's only so far. Young Thug is what, $8 million alleged net worth.
That's a lot of money.
I mean, it's $8 million. That can actually go after this court case. To be honest with you.
Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that T.I. thing. I was working in the federal halfway house when T.I. got locked up, and I'm sitting in there with a bunch of guys that's sitting there with gun charges. And when they seen his gun charge, and they said that he got up out of that, everybody in the federal halfway house like that don't work that way.
Yes, it does when you got money. Everybody that was in your halfway house doesn't have T.I. money.
Yeah, I know that, but it's something that went different.
I'm not going there.
Something went different. I'm sitting there with brothers that got the same charge. A bunch of them that got gun charges. If you're a felon and you get a gun charge after you become a felon, it's a wrap.
For most.
Yeah.
But the common person, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the common person that gets caught does not have T.I. money.
But the difference is, it's still, I would say that if it was like a state charge.
They don't have that type of legal representation.
No, I hear what you're saying, but that's a state charge.
When you paying for when you have a paid lawyer and not a lawyer that's working for the state, when you have a paid lawyer, they go a little bit harder.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I totally agree with you. But I'm saying, no, even normally when it's a federal charge, it's real difficult to get out of federal charge. I don't care who you are. But he danced out of it. He danced out of it, so I can't say nothing about it.
Those RICO charges, the RICO charge and the other charge. What's the other charge like where?
Well, he didn't have. I don't think T.I. had a real RICO charge. His name was.
I'm saying it's two types of charges that's kind of conspiracy. Conspiracy and RICO are two of the hardest charges to get out of. They are. They're two of the hardest charges to get out of. Like, you think like somebody's going to jail. Somebody's going to do the time. And I don't know if it's going to be Young Thug. It might be one of these dudes, YSL, whoever, that's a rapper that didn't even blow up yet. That's in their crew. He might do the time.
YSL is the whole gang.
You know what I'm saying? Their names are like YSL such and such. Just like I'm not saying that ASAPs have anything to do with this, but like ASAP Rocky, ASAP Ferg, they have dudes, rappers within their crew, YSL such and such, YSL so and so.
Affiliates is the word you're looking for.
Affiliates,
like
right? And so it might be one of them that take the heat for everybody because their money ain't that long, and they might be like the low man on the totem pole, and the order might come through like, yo, he's not going because he's top dog. You got to do it for him. Stuff like this happens all the time. It happens all the time.
But how do you dance out of them using those lyrics in court? Because they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Well, and that's where
when it's a lot of I and we, that's just like.
Yeah, but that's where the Second Amendment comes in too. And if you have a good lawyer, I should be able to say whatever I want to say. It's freedom of speech. It's a lot of songs.
Ain't nobody beat that yet, I don't think.
It's a lot of songs that we could go back to, like back in the day, where a lot of incriminating stuff was said.
But they used
we knew it in the streets. We knew it in the streets. Think about it. Even in 90s hip hop, it was a lot of beef going on and little slick stuff being said. We knew, oh, so and so was talking about such and such, because we knew, just like they know. Within their crew, oh, he's talking about when so-and-so did such and such. People start talking, it gets the buzzing, somebody's going down.
I mean, do you think the feds don't have code breakers like they had during
First of all, we got to stop thinking about the feds as if like it's a bunch of old white guys like how it is when we grew up, man.
This would be people like you and me.
This is us now.
Yeah.
The guys that don't, federal agents and stuff like that are people that we grew up with. You know what I mean?
Sad to say, it's people intertwined that just don't even feel bad about that. And me personally, my character, I could never play that part and be the person that I'm not and snitch and bring somebody else down, whether they're doing something wrong or right. I'd rather just mind my business than to be smiling up in people's faces and risking my life just to tell the government, oh, so-and-so is doing
okay,
this.
now I got to stop you right there because it's easy to say that until they start hitting with them football numbers, and then you start thinking about life. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get what you're saying. And I'm not
a lot of people do it out of their own. A lot of people get caught, but a lot of people make that choice to do that. Like, look at what's the movie? Dag, I don't even want to hold up the conversation, but the movie about the it wasn't Huey P. Newton. It was the movie I'm talking about with the dude from Queen and Slim. And
are you talking about Fred Hampton joint? Yeah.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah.
Look at Lakeith Stanfield. You know Lakeith Stanfield. What I read, I don't know how true this is, but it said he had to like check himself into he had to get therapy because after he played that role, it messed with his mind so bad he couldn't get right after that.
Yeah,
so he had to go to therapy.
Lakeith Stanfield. That's a whole.
He was a decent actor. He's a decent actor, man. But got a little weird every now and then.
Outside stuff, but that's neither here nor there, man. That's neither here nor there. But speaking of this, man, check this out. Do y'all want to hear from R.I.C.O, trap music historian?
I don't even know who he is, but I mean, no disrespect, but yeah, let me hear what he got to say.
Yeah, hear what he said. Yeah.
This is R.I.C.O.
I didn't know you could be a trap music.
This is something that's new to me. But
did he label himself that? Because if that's the case, I would like to do be a historian for New York hip hop music.
We already have those.
You get a title. And you become a brand ambassador for
maybe
for
it's just it's subdivisions. But we ain't here.
Actually,
we ain't
Jada Pinkett is the hip hop historian.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right.
So, actually, Jada Pinkett is the hip hop historian.
Yeah, okay.
Just because you mess with Tupac don't make you an expert. All right, so
that's what she says.
Yeah, okay.
All right, but
we don't do Jada on the show no more.
AR, just a whole other subject. AR-CHO is talking to Sheba Russell. This is in Atlanta, 11 Alive in Atlanta.
Work in the community. Just last year, we covered how he helped to open a free grocery store in his former Atlanta middle school. What do you think these indictments mean for the industry and the culture?
It means a lot. You know, I interviewed Gunna. I actually did his first national cover story several years ago, and he's a nice kid. Like I've talked to him, I spoke with him. Comes from a good family, and he's always giving back to the community. You mentioned his efforts to give back to McNair Middle School and the grocery store, where students have healthier options. Mm-hmm. They have options to get clothes and shoes and snacks. And so he's been very helpful for the community. So it means a lot when someone of that stature who gives back is put under this microscope. Mm-hmm. Because
I got something to say.
Go ahead. That's why I even paused it, because I can see it in your face. Go ahead.
You know, I gotta say something. I remember a few years back when I was still living in Delaware. If y'all remember, there was that little $5 drink spot over there where the new it's a newer Chick-fil-A over there off of Route 4. We used to go across the street.
People don't know what you're talking about. They don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, across the street from tailgates next to the old Wawa that they took down to build the Chick-fil-A, there was a $5 drink spot. And I remember one night I was in there with a couple of people from Barclays, and shout out to Shiznitty, Delaware rapper, Del State.
I'm sorry, we gotta stop you right here. We ain't doing shout outs, man.
No, shout out to
we're not doing it.
I remember having a conversation with Shiz that night, and we were sitting down talking, and I forgot who passed at the time, and I was like, dang, I said, that's crazy. We sitting down at the bar. I said, that's crazy that he passed. I said, he was such a good dude. And Shiz looked at me. I forgot who we was talking about, but he looked at me, and something he said, it will always stick with me. He said, everybody is a good dude when they die. And that's real. That's real rap, because there's a lot of truth to it, because a lot of these people, you know, they do these bad things, but we still got love for them. We all know somebody that ain't right in the head, that has done some craziness on the streets, and I'd be like, that's my bro. I don't care. Like, I really love him. He messed up right there, but that's my bro. But as soon as that person died, everybody, oh my God, he was the best person, you know? And the thing is, like I said, and I'm sticking to this, if these dudes did what they're being accused of doing, then I think that it should be some type of punishment. I don't know if they should go hard and take their lives away from them, because I don't agree with that. I feel like, the institutionalizing a person can either hurt them or help them. If they're in there too long, it hurts them.
I think they should modify or do something different with that whole RICO process, because let's take this kid for a second, man. Maybe he might have turned the corner in his life. He might not have had nothing to do with none of this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? He might have been telling everybody around him, like, yo, listen, man, like, stop that, man. Like, I want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because he's affiliated with these guys,
yep,
he's going to get hit either way. And I'm not caping for him. I don't know him from, can of paint. But on the same token, I think that RICO garbage needs to be somehow readjusted.
The whole system is messed up. Like, no matter how you go in there, the whole system is messed up. It's big business. Everybody's getting paid. The judge, the lawyer, the cops, everybody's getting paid. Like, look at it like this. You got policemen on the streets, right? They supposed to protect and serve, right? Okay. They have quotas that they have to meet. And if they don't meet their quota, they don't get a certain amount of money. I don't know if y'all watching that joint. The true story that's on TV right now is I think it might be a 4 or 5 part series. It's called "We Run the City" or "We Own the City" or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's about the joint. It's about the crooked cops in Baltimore. True story, right? They in one of the episodes, one of the seasoned cops tells the rookie, "Look, if you want to get extra money, you're gonna have to make more arrests." To the point where the rookie started going out in plain clothes and running up on people in his plain clothes and arrested them just so he could make more money throughout his job, because their pension, their salary didn't cut it. You got a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So look at that. Now, if you look at that situation where he's making extra arrests and he's the top dog for making arrests and he's breaking into people's houses and he's stealing money and all types of stuff, and he got his little squad that's running with him and he's paying them off too, and everybody's eating, it's all corrupt down to the bone, because his job is looking at him like, wow, he's the top dog. He's arresting the most people. Like, we love him. In the meantime, innocent lives are going to jail, and we as the taxpayers are paying for people to be sitting up in the jail cell.
And it's a bunch of kids. There's a bunch of kids that's wrapped up in these indictments that's going to get railroaded because, in a regular, New York City getting locked up. We ain't even talking about a federal case, but just in a group of cats getting locked up in New York City. The feds is totally different. It's like a 98% conviction rate or something crazy like that. Yeah. The kids in the city don't even want to fight the case. You know what I mean? Just in the city, in a regular New York State case where you get locked up with a bunch of people, you just go in there and you probably ain't got, a good attorney or anything like that. So you're usually fighting it with a public defender, and you just say, well, listen, let me go ahead and take the hit, because I'm scared that if I go left and I try to fight it, they're going to give me more time. Imagine what these kids are facing when they're sitting in front of a federal charge, a RICO charge. Right. You know what I mean? Everybody in there is copping out right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody in there copping out right now. Even if they didn't do anything. You're probably sitting in front of the feds right now, and they telling you, like, listen, this is going on, we know you ain't got nothing to do with it, but you still got that tattoo on your arm of YSL. You know what I mean? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to offer you this in order for you to get up out of here, or whatever. You don't want to take it, go to court and lose, you're going to get 10 to 20, anywhere from 10 to 20 years.
I totally agree.
What about the young kid that's just a fan of these guys and don't know them and just decide to put a YSL tattoo on?
There's a bunch of them in there.
I don't know anything that's going on. Not a part of the inner circle, not a part of anything, but just go out there and do it.
That's why I said they need to do away with that whole RICO garbage. And then I think if you're gonna tie somebody into a RICO case, it kind of should fit the whole build of innocent to proven guilty, until you're actually proving that you actually took a part in the conspiracy and in part in some sort of gain from the organization. And I'm not talking about no legal gain. I'm talking about you actually sold some drugs, or you shot somebody, or you did something. You shouldn't be in that case.
It don't matter.
I know it don't matter.
Black in America.
I know it don't matter. I'm just saying that
they're gonna get whoever they can get, and you're absolutely right, and I totally agree with you. But we are Black in America.
And the RICO thing is going too far too, because they're making these people out to be an organization.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, this ain't the mafia. This ain't the outfit. You know what I mean?
Which is still around. And you mean to tell me, first of all, the mafia hasn't been disbanded.
I'm quite sure they got some cells in the mafia somewhere, but you know, I mean, it doesn't really stand out.
What I'm saying is, it's not equal, it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they did take down a lot of crime bosses that were in the mafia or whatever, but there's still mafia out here, heavy mafia, heavy, to the point where in my area, you know who owns what restaurant.
Stop.
I'm just saying. I didn't say where I was at.
Stop there.
I'm saying what it is.
You're gonna park it right there.
Nah, you know what it is, and you know what?
I don't. That's what RICO is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but the whole thing of it is, and I hear exactly what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying, man. The thing of it is, man, is that again, even with them, I don't think that they're like, there's no more the kind of thing that Lucky Luciano and them laid down back in the days. No, I'm not saying, maybe, we're talking about maybe like, when I would say organization, you might be talking about Russians and different things like that.
No, I'm not. We can talk after this is over.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's not organizations, you know what I mean? Or I'll put it like this. There's not groups of people. I think it's just crews of people that's making money. I think honestly speaking, looking back on it, and I heard some people speak on this recently, a lot of these so-called people that even we called organizations that's growing up, the Alpos and the Bridgeporters and all them guys made money, but there wasn't no organization. You know what I mean? They made a lot of money, but there wasn't no organization. You know what I mean? They did what they did in the street. And, a lot of people like to paint them out to be like, oh, like they controlled the Eastern Seaboard and all this other stuff. Nah, they had money, but they didn't do what they ain't Lucky Luciano.
It's not organized crime.
It ain't organized crime. It's just a bunch of people. Crime, yeah. He probably had a couple of workers with him and he got busy and he made some money. It ain't, I think this whole RICO organized crime thing that they're doing now is just put together just to lock up young black kids for doing little street common drug sales and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that they're not getting no money. They might be getting some money. But the question is, are you getting millions and billions of dollars? That's what usually consists of you getting some sort of
and that's my point.
RICO case. You know what I mean?
This is my point. My point is that is organizations still running and nobody, and how they been running for this many years and this long, way longer than these YSL dudes, and nobody's cracking down on them like that. It's not fair game. They're black in America, and I really fear for them right now because, like I said, I hope nobody innocent has to go down, but it looks like they really trying to.
That's what I'm saying. But that's the point that I'm making. Is it's like it's bold. It's put together to call it an organized crime. Look at the kid in Philly. It's AR-AB or something like that. I was reading his case, something like that. A lot of them cases is like real flimsy. You know what I mean? But yeah, they probably was involved in something. I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying people, a lot of these kids in general. The question is it organized crime or did they just sell drugs? And
why was they trying to treat it as such?
It's wrong either way. It's wrong either way.
Yes.
But the point is, it's a difference from somebody getting 50 years in jail to somebody getting 5 or 10 years in jail. That's the difference.
But maybe they were looking at too, because then you say it was like YFN or something like that. He almost got killed in jail over this.
He got stabbed. I don't know if he almost got killed. I know he was stabbed up. And when I read the article that I read, basically they were saying that it was a request put in. I guess they got it on the tap, or they got some type of when that this was going down, but a request was either it went to Young Thug or somebody allegedly requesting, can we, we need to hit him again in jail. Mm-hmm. So that was all in the papers.
And like you said, it's allegedly, but the street stuff.
Right. And it's not, and that's what I'm saying. Like, like I know that they might be affiliated with the Bloods or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But and I don't know how big their sector, the whole gang is. I don't know. Like I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to measure. But I don't feel as though it should be considered organized crime. Especially when organized crime has been going on for years and years of different other races, and like once in a blue, you'll see where they'll take somebody down.
Yeah, I don't see it's good you said that. I don't see these other, nationalities and other whatever, who actually have some real money being made and some real stuff going on being accused of this stuff. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it gets crazy with it. And again, whatever these kids did wrong, if they did something wrong, you took somebody's life, you sold drugs, whatever the case may be, you should be prosecuted accordingly. But on the same token, to call it organized crime is ridiculous in most cases.
I just want to say one other thing. I don't know if y'all saw Michael Moore's documentary, Bowling for Columbine, but I believe that's the documentary where he was walking around Canada at one point, and he was like, everybody in Canada leave their door open, and he was going into somebody's house, and they were like, oh hey, and he was like, everybody here is licensed to carry. He was like, and nobody came at me when I walked through this door. Nobody attacked me. Look, I done walked through doors and nobody did anything to like attack me. And they're licensed to carry out here. So why is it in America that it's so much crime? Right? And if you think about it, the media plays a big role in that. I believe that the media has never really suffered the consequences of making people look bad or making things happen, because he was talking about how a black man walking down the street with a hoodie on his head coming towards you as you get in your car is like a fearful thing. Like that's the way the media has made it seem, like that the fear of the black man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like that in Canada. And they're not making people look bad to where they have to fear someone to the point where a lot of innocent people have lost their lives. I thought that was pretty deep.
I don't know if I told you this before, man, but, years ago, and I don't know if I even said it on here before, but I remember my first class in college, man, and I had an African history professor. He was giving this, this is during the time Rodney King was going on. And he was saying how, when you look at the advertisement, like the magazines and stuff like that with African Americans, when you see LeBron on a magazine, he looks all like buff and strong, and they show him aggressive and dunking on somebody or whatever like that. But that's all the pictures and stuff that we get through media. So he was saying that psychologically, this plays a part when you watch Rodney King get beat by 6 different people, or how many other cops he got beat by. And then automatically your perception, whether you be black or white, is like, he can take it. Because he's a black man, he can take that beating. You know what I mean? But if we saw a Chinese man or anybody else getting beat like that, everybody would be like, "Oh my gosh, it's horrific." You know what I mean? Because we don't. Society doesn't paint them as being like these strong, masculine people. I'm not saying just Chinese. I'm just talking about anybody other than black men. No,
I get it. I totally agree with you, because remember when it was all the Asian hate crimes that was happening, like right during COVID, and it went from Black Lives Matter to Asian Lives Matter.
Right.
I remember having a conversation with my mother. I was like, this is crazy, because we've been getting hit in our head with hammers and hose down and dogs. Not saying that what they doing to the Asians is wrong, but when it happened to Asians,
it's not wrong, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And that's pretty deep. Like, it's the perception. You know what I'm saying? If you ask somebody from another country, they think we're savages. So when one person from, our race acts crazy, they're like, oh, here goes the savages again, because of the way that we have been portrayed in the media for so long.
Yeah, I think that's all a part of the whole systemic racism thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. That's how we're portrayed in the media. We're portrayed as being the aggressors, and we're so strong, we're bigger than everybody else, the way they portray it. You know what I mean? And as a result of that, it makes it easier for you to, see a black person get beat over the head and whatever. I remember, like you said, watching that Asian thing and seeing some of them Asian people, and all my heart is like, oh my gosh, they shouldn't have did that to that lady, which is wrong.
It was wrong.
But I've seen numerous black people get beat up, and I'm thinking to myself, it's bad, but I'm like, even me being a black person, I'm like, well, he could take it. It's sad that we think that. You know what I mean? It's not to say that it's not wrong, but you're saying that, you've been trained to think that physically we can endure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's why I said, the media has a responsibility as well, and they've never suffered any repercussions or any consequences for their role in this whole thing. I think, to me, one of the greatest shows that I ever saw on TV was The Wire. And the reason why I say that is because it broke down a lot of things. It broke down the streets. It broke down the sea, like the import, export on the water was the second season, right?
Mm-hmm.
It broke down the media and the cops. Like, it broke down a lot of different aspects of what's going on. And I feel like the media in season 5 was such a big role. That's all they talked about. Remember, they was talking about the Sun, the Baltimore Sun. Right. They play such a big role, but the media never really suffers.
Yeah, they definitely show how it affected all aspects of the. It's not like it's just a black thing. You know what I mean? It showed how everybody had their hand in the pot. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. So during the time of this recording, another Atlanta rapper affiliated with these guys is dead. I don't want to say has been killed because they don't know. Little Keed. Just confirmed.
I don't know who that is.
Well, apparently he's affiliated with this YSL thing. So hold on, let me just play the clip.
Atlanta rapper Lil Keed has died. That's according to social media posts by his brother. Lil Keed, whose real name is Rakid Render, was a member of the YSL record label founded by Young Thug. It was not immediately clear how the rapper might have died.
Now you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? YSL is a record label, but now they're saying YSL is part of the Bloods. See how they switch? See how they switch it?
Well, they say, according to the thing, I guess they're saying that they're blood affiliated. I don't know if they said it. I'm assuming that they may have said it in order for them to even use it in a media outlet. You would think, but again, even with that, I think even with that whole blood thing, a lot of times these young cats just join gangs and stuff like that, or say they're part of a gang or they'll create a gang in their area so they can move around in this rap world. You know what I mean? So when I go to LA, I'll be able to link up with some people out there in order to take care of me there. You know what I mean? Because we're blood affiliated. If I go to New York, it's the same thing. We're blood affiliated. A lot of them doing it for survival or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that none of it is right. You know what I mean? I'm not saying none of it is right, but we got to recognize that there's a street portion to this that, my father told me years ago, man, a lot of people that join the gang is cowards.
Yeah. Well, they do a lot join for protection. You have to remember, like, the gangs out here got so big from everybody being in jail and wanting some form of protection. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is.
It's a handful of people in the gang that's tough. You know what I mean? And everybody else is just is affiliated cowards. You know what I mean? That's how it normally is.
A long time ago, my homeboy said to me, a lot of people ain't built to be leaders, and a lot of people just ain't tough. And it's a fact.
That's what it is.
What did the community do about this, y'all? What's the thought about this? Like, because at the end of the day, you listen to these lyrics, these kids are calling themselves slimes and everything like that. What is it? Where's the community answer? What do you think it would be?
It's not going to stop because rap music makes money, and these record labels and execs don't give 2 cents whether or not these kids die. Truthfully speaking, they probably make more money off of them dying than staying alive, because when the record, God forbid, this kid, Young Thug, gets killed in jail or something like that, this record label would probably, they'll stand in front of you with crocodile tears, but behind closed doors, they're like, thank God.
Their sales are going to go up just because
we got record sales on them.
They're going to court anyway, so their sales are going up anyway. But like, forget the labels, forget all of that. What do the community? The label ain't a part of the community.
I'm saying in regards to that, I don't think that there's nothing that it can do. Our community is controlled by dollars.
What do you think, Josh?
I think the whole thing is messy. That's what I think. The whole thing is messy. I think that the whole entire situation is corrupt. The system's corrupt. The way they're trying to bring so many young black kids down is corrupt. I just think the whole thing is messy now. With this situation right here with these dudes in Atlanta, even if they take them off the street, you don't think that they're going to have to deal with more retaliation from the streets? You don't think people could put hits out from jail?
It'll be enough. It's not even that. I think once they move them off the face, they'll get in penitentiary and do regular penitentiary stuff, but it'll be replaced with something else.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is, it's not okay. You remove 28. Allegedly, you're trying to remove 28 people from off the street, right? So far, allegedly, they committed these crimes. You're trying to move them off the street. You mean to tell me that that's going to clean your streets? No, that's not. And the sad part about it is, you asked about what can the community do. The community can't do anything, because 9 times out of 10, the community is either afraid or they're affiliated, because they had to choose a side. They had to choose: am I going to stay protected? Look at what's his name? The dude we interviewed from California,
Amani Collette.
Amani, right?
Yeah.
He was saying how, like, he had to find a way out. Basketball was his thing, because he grew up in an environment where it was like, you're gonna have to make a choice. You around these gangs, you're gonna have to become a part of the gang at some point. But because he could play ball, he got a pass. Think about a lot of people who haven't recognized their talent yet, or they don't have an outlet, and they don't have no choice, because, like I said, this is their environment. So when they walk out the house, it's like, you're gonna be a part of this gang.
Not to mention society, in our community, it's sad to say that we always have a bleeding heart towards drug dealers and all kind of other people. You know what I mean?
Because they're helping us. They're helping us.
I was going to say, man, it's a Robin Hood mentality. And I'm not saying that these kids are drug dealers. I don't want to put that out there, because I don't know what they did. I say allegedly, you know what I mean, until they get convicted of anything. But I'm just talking about in regards to our community. We have this a love for the drug dealer. As a kid growing up, the drug dealers a lot of times fronted us basketball jerseys and stuff like that in order to play in the tournaments. A lot of times, I mean, this is an age-old thing. It goes back. This goes back to Nicky Barnes. It goes back to Pee Wee Kirkland. Even further than that, it goes back to Hitler. Hitler did this. He did the same thing. He came to the Germans. They wasn't eating. He was feeding them and all the other stuff like that. So when he was putting food in their mouth, it was hard for them not to go against the Jewish community at that point, because it was like, yo, he's taking care of us.
Exactly.
He's telling us that the Jews are horrible and all the other stuff like that. So it's an age-old thing where, people with a corrupt thought process, just knew that they had to take care of the people. Same thing happened with Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas did the same thing. Took care of the community. Community came in there when he was, going through his situation. A lot of stars and movie stars and basketball players came in and stood on his behalf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the community usually
just because they held down the community. Think about how many families didn't have turkeys during Thanksgiving, and these dudes came out here and gave them turkeys.
Yeah, so it's an age-old thing. It's sad to say that we do that, but I mean, we hold them in high regard. You know what I mean? So,
but to before we get ready to wrap it up, so I'm listening to everything you're saying. So I'm just thinking in the mind of a person who might counter that by saying, just because they gave us turkeys, is it good for them to sell drugs and shoot up the community?
No, obviously not. Obviously not. The whole point of it is that the difference is when somebody put a chicken in your pot,
you less likely to tell. Right, you less likely to snitch, because they're giving you something that nobody else is giving. Nobody else. It wasn't no cops walking around handing out turkeys. It was your local big time drug dealer taking care of the community, because our communities were overlooked. So it becomes a certain allegiance, and you have an alliance to them, and so you're less likely to snitch. You're less likely to, you're going to keep your nose clean, because you know that this person provided for you.
But I'm just playing the advocate of the person that's probably listening to this and probably hearing it and might misconstrue what you're saying. Because more like not saying like look the other way because of what they're doing. No, but it's just more or less like, all right, if they just banging out for some blocks or something like that, that bullet don't care that Nino there gave me a turkey. You know what I mean?
It's all wrong, man. It's nobody saying it's right. It's just that, I understand the mentality of it. Looking back on it now, I don't think it's right, because we try to live a better life, a righteous life, and try to live better. and pray better and all that other stuff like that. But on the same token, I mean, person who's not going to eat tonight, and somebody put food in a pot, it's hard to tell that person to wake up in the morning and tell on somebody that have been feeding them. You know what I mean? So it's sad to say, but it's the reality of what it is.
Right.
All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to get ready to wrap up. So these young brothers here, I'm pretty sure the story will get kind of more fluid as the weeks and days and months go on. So any other closing thoughts you guys might have?
Nah, this is a good show. Good show.
Yeah, all right.
That's good.
Rap is out of control, folks. The Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. Also, check us out on YouTube, Only One Mic podcast, to catch up on the past and current shows. Please don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get in contact with the Only One Mic podcast, you can reach us via email at the Only One Mic 00 at gmail.com. Excuse me, the Only One Mic 00 at gmail.com. Facebook and LinkedIn at the Only One Mic podcast. Instagram and Twitter at the Only One Mic P1. There you can leave your comments and your thoughts. So thanks again. We truly thank you again for your time and encourage you to speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. Keyword rappers, quietly and clearly. All right. So until next time, keep in mind that we never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, so we shouldn't have to run from a black man. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.